take all your favorite shows to all your favorite places.
With Xfinity X1, you can download your favorites from anywhere. On demand, your DVR.
Oh, that's wonderful.
This is awesome. You can even stream top networks and live sports on the go. I'm sold.
Take the Xfinity X1 Challenge.
Father went back in 82. Mother not long after him.
Grandma's gone? Grandpa's gone? Mum says Nan's next.
Everyone I love has gone.
Yeah, my wife. She's gone to a better place. So I thought I'd join her.
Don't look back to the things you never have. Don't say never, say now what you waiting for. Oh, my eyes are open wider than the whole world. Oh, the sky is open wider than the whole world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy Precision Road Race Night to you all. Welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network as we bring you live coverage from Circuit de Spa with the Precision Racing League. Tonight is race number 6 of the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series, and tonight we have the Do the NT Dash for Cash race number 1. I am your commentator Sean Zulu, and I am joined by my good friend and producer Dave Evel. How are you doing, buddy? I am doing good too, thank you. Well, Dave, tonight we are racing at Circuit de Spa like I talked about, and this is a Dash for Cash. But before we talk about tonight, let's talk about last week from the Outback 150 at Pocono. In the win, we had the 18 of Justin Michael, the 14 of Cody Johnson, the 7 of Dallas Pataska 3rd, the 24 of Corey Blevins 4th, and the 3 of Dale Robertson came out in 5th place. And in that race, we did have a one-lap shootout at the very end, as the 14 of Johnson tried to defend the first place position to keep the 87 of Justin Michael behind him. But unfortunately, he was not able to keep the 87 of Justin Michael behind him, which did bump him down to 2nd place and bump Justin Michael up into 1st place, giving him the win. And we did have a lot of green flag pit stops. We stuck to the 14 of Cody Johnson about tonight's race, so we should expect to see some great action from him and his teammate, the 16 of Curtis Aho. And we do have the season standings as well. The 24 of Corey Blevins is still in the lead as of last week and the week before that. He is from Flat Out Motorsports. The 16 of Curtis Aho still in 2nd place in points from Big D's Racing. 87 of Justin Michael new to the top 5 in points from Team No Lips. The 10 of Brandon Massey bumped down from 3rd place to 4th place from the Screaming Eagles team. And the 7 of Dallas Pataska new to the top 5. And he's from Ryan Pandisio Motorsports. Well, Dave, tell us about tonight's race, please.
Well, Sean, as you said, this is the first Dash for Cash race here with the Precision Racing League. Taking a look here at my notes, it looks like tonight the 7 of Dallas Pataska, the 11 of Brandon Massey, the 24 of Corey Blevins, the 8 of Steven Aguiar, the 55 of Karsten Quinn, and the 41 of Chris Perez will each receive $10 just for qualifying for the Dash for Cash. Now, if one of those 6 drivers win tonight, they will also receive a $40 cash prize for winning. However, there has been a special kicker added here tonight. Tonight during qualifying, there was 4 names picked at random. These 4 drivers include the 911 of John LaBeouf, the 911 of 95 of Jeffrey Ford, the 40 of Aaron Grosskopf, and the 45 of Eddie Hawks. Now the kicker is these guys did not qualify for the Dash for Cash, but if one of these 4 drivers will win tonight here at Circuit de Spa, these drivers will rob all of the Dash for Cash drivers and take away the full $100 prize here tonight.
That does sound like a handful, Dave. So these guys will try their best to defend their money to make sure those guys up there, the 4 drivers who were mentioned, do not win. The John LaBeouf, Eddie Hawks, Jeffrey Ford, and Aaron R. Grosskopf. And Dave, we are currently in qualifying, and qualifying is actually almost over. And currently on the pole is the 7 of Dallas, Pataska, the 1 of James O'Brien, second place behind him, the 911 of John LaBeouf in 3rd place.
Yeah, these guys got a lot of challenges here tonight, running here at Circuit de Spa with the Xfinity class, so the B class cars should make for some interesting racing. Is really, as far as I know, I've never seen the B class here, so these drivers are going to be challenging something they're not used to here. Is this track definitely has got a lot of turns here. As we are looking at their lap times, they are running about a 2-minute and 23-second lap time plus, so they're going to be doing 30-some laps here, so this ought to be real fun and interesting to watch tonight, Sean.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. And you did talk about how these guys are running these B cars here at Circuit de Spa, running an oval car on a road course. I do believe, Dave, these guys are going to have to put extra wheel into it, because these things are used to turning only in one direction, the left side, and they'll have to do both directions tonight. So tire is going to play a key role. It's going to hit them even harder than it would at an oval track. So Dave, during pit stops, we should expect to see a lot of guys taking 4 tires.
Oh, most definitely, Sean. We're also going to see a lot of guys getting hard onto these brakes, because they are going to have to slow these heavy machines down to get through these turns to hit the apex. But they also got to be careful, because these cars are heavy, but if they get into that throttle too early, these cars will spin around.
Oh, and speaking of spinning around, Dave, I was monitoring these guys under practice or during their practice times, and Dave, as soon as they get onto the track, these cars were very, very touchy for them, because we had a lot of drivers who were losing control under braking and also just entering the turns. So they will have to take it easy for the first maybe 1 to 2 laps until those tires warm up before they can start pushing it.
Yeah, most definitely. They got to definitely get these tires warmed up to get some grip here. It's not like a normal road course car that has that great aerodynamics that just pushes the car right down onto the track. These guys got to do throttle control, and throttle control. They got to use that throttle to help turn these heavy machines.
And Dave, unlike an oval, draft is going to play quite the role in tonight's race, because we do have quite a few straightaways. We do have a straightaway after the mountain in between turns turn number 2 and 6. And we have a mountain up there, and after that mountain we do have a long straight. So if those guys do have the draft, they're going to be better off than those guys who do not have the draft. So that's where these guys are going to be making up a lot of time. And Dave, for those drivers who are losing time in the turns, they're going to be making them up on the straightaways. And for those guys losing time on the straightaways, they'll make them up in the turns. So it's just a reverse cycle for the drivers tonight.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these oval drivers are used to running maybe Sonoma, definitely Watkins Glen. But this track is nothing like either of those. It's got some sharp turns. It's got some apexes where you're coming up over a blind turn. So it'll make an interesting and fun race, that's for sure.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the United Armed Services Oval Series by Dean Stone. And tonight's race is the Do the NT Dash for Cash race number 1, sponsored by Do the NT. Well, we do have only less than 1 minute remaining until qualifying is officially over. And we do have quite the changes in the standings or the qualifying order. The 7 of Pataska has been knocked down to 3rd from first place the last time we had checked by the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. Paul D. Johnson finished in second place last week, and James O'Brien was able to get in front of the 7 of Dallas Pataska as well, from third place up to second place behind the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. But John Luboff and 66 of Charles Paradis are still in the same spots. And these guys do have once again a 60% fuel limit. I probably did not mention that, but that is 60%. So they do have to pit more than once, I would believe, because it's a 33 lap race tonight, and they are running about 2 minute 23 second lap times. So I guess we 2 minute 25 to be safe, because once that tire starts kicking in, those lap times are gonna drop at a very, very fast rate.
Well, Sean, it looks like these guys are going to start climbing in their cars, getting ready to grid here, getting ready to go green flag racing at Circuit de Spa in the Xfinity cars.
We are going to give them a few minutes to grid up before we start going down that order. We have the 14 of Paul D. Johnson once again on the pole, starting on the right side. Unlike an oval, he wants to start on the left side, but the right side, the 1 of James O'Brien starting in second place to his left. The 7 of Dallas Pataska starting behind the leader, the 14 of Paul D. Johnson in third place. The 9-11 of John Luboff second place on the, I would say the bottom lane, but the left lane, behind the 1 of James O'Brien in fourth place. The 66 of Charles Paradis in 5th place. The 41 of Chris Perez in 6th. The 27 of Danny Duchesne in 7th place. The 40 of Aaron R. Groskov in 8th place. The 3 of Darryl Robertson finishing in 5th place last week. Gonna be starting here in 9th place. 55 of Karsten Quint, 10th place. The 5 of Jason Ashby, 11th place. The 22 of Jack Price in 12th. The 4 of Sammy Holmes in 13th. The 13 of Spa-Francorchamps Champagne in 14th. The 9 of Austin Moore in 15th. 45 of Eddie Hawks, 16th. 11 of Brandon Massey, 17th. The 28 of Eric Roberts, 18th. The 21 of Trevor White, 19th. The 60 of Colton Lane in 20th place. The 78 of Ronald McManus, 21st. The 63 of Ryan Pandicio, 22nd. 95 of Jeffrey Ford being the last car to qualify, starting in 23rd. 654 Josh Conker starting in 24th. 87 of Justin Michael, 25th. The 31 of, I'll skip that one, the 24 of Corey Blevins, 27th. The 16 of Curtis Aho, 28th. 092 of Dean Stone, 29th. The 8 of Stephen Aguiar, starting in 30th. 59 of David White, 31st. And last but not least, the 10 of Lance Marsh, starting in 32nd place. Well, going back up front, these guys are rolling. Pace speed is 60 miles an hour, but they have quite the ways to go. Oh, actually, never mind. They're coming up to the last turn already. Gonna be going green for the first time. This time by. As the 14 of Johnson rolls out of the last turn, he puts the hammer to the floor, cuts it off guard. The green flag has not flown yet, but the 7 of Pataska jumps to the inside of the 1 of James O'Brien. James O'Brien. Oh, never mind. That caught me off guard, Dave. I guess the pace car is still on the track.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy there, but they were going to go one more lap around here to get their warm-up lap and get ready to go green flag racing.
Oh, actually, by looks of it, the pace car uses different entrance than the one in the last turn. So the pace car is now up. 14 of Johnson puts it down to the floor. The 1 of O'Brien right behind him falls back in line. The 7 of Pataska being challenged by the 9-11 of John Love, who backs it off to let him go. The 41 of Perez and 66 of Charles Paradis were battling each other going up the mountain, but the 41 of Perez backs it off to let the 66 of Charles Paradis by, but that leaves the door open to the 27 of Danny Duchesne to get around him. These guys just going double foul into the turns of 40 of Aaron Groskov, challenging the 41 of Chris Perez. That is a battle for 7th place, but Aaron Groskov backs off, lets the 41 of Perez go by. These guys still trying to get some heat in those tires to warm them up.
Not sure exactly what happened there, Sean, but looking to the left side there of the 40 of Aaron Groskov, that Ford Mustang, he's got some scrapes already on that left side, so I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it looks like these cars are already starting to get some scrapes and scratches here from Circuit de Spa.
Yeah, I just hope the 40 of Aaron Groskov doesn't get affected by that damage that he sustained. Most likely won't. He is in the draft of the 41 of Perez, and he does have the 3 of Robertson behind him, catching up to him. And that 4 of Sammy Holmes further back in the pack is behind the 55 of Karsten Quint with the 13 of Jean-Francois challenging him from behind. And going back up front, Dave, we have the 1 of O'Brien all over the 14 of Johnson. This is for the race lead. These guys riding single foul, most likely trying to pull away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, it looks like they're all single file there, Sean. As we know from our previous experiences doing road races, these guys know they've got 33 laps to go, so they're going to be out here, just over 60 minutes here. So these guys know it doesn't look like they're pushing too hard. They're just trying to keep everybody in sight. As we see them get hard on the brakes for that hard right into a left-hand turn here, as they start powering that over, coming out of the turn.
And that 7 of Dallas Pataska, Dave, did end up braking later than the 2 leaders, the 1 of O'Brien and the 14 of Cody Johnson. He did gain a lot of time in the turns, but powering off the turns is where he lost all that time again. So slow in, fast out once again is a fast way to go.
Well, right behind the 7 of Dallas Pataska, we have the 911 of John LaBeouf, who is a wild card sitting currently in 4th position. He, if he is able to get around these and win this race tonight, he would be walking out of here $100 richer.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on him because he is anxious. I mean, he does want to get that win, but these guys, just like we have seen Dave, they won't pull over to make it any easier for him. And going further back in the pack, we do have the 654 of Conquer making moves of a lifetime. Just overtook the 45 of Eddie Hawks as he was, as though he was sitting still. Actually, Eddie Hawks is going very slow right now. Just left the 60 of Cotton Lane and the 654 of Conquer by.
Well, speaking of Eddie Hawks there, I'm glad to see he was able to get back in the car. We saw him last night in a truck race where he was hanging from the guide wire, but looks like he was able to get out of there, get back into his Xfinity car, and make it out here tonight, looking good in that U.S. Army Ranger car right there.
Oh yeah, Dave. And also speaking of Eddie Hawks, like I said, he was going a little bit slow on the straight in between turn number 2 and 6, and actually just it came to mind that he does have some front end damage on that Chevy Camaro of his, so it most likely is affecting him a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, he's probably just taking it easy. We're only on lap 1 here. We still got 32 laps remaining, so he's just kind of taking it easy here. The good thing is, Sean, since we are in Circuit de Spa here, is that we will not have any full course cautions. It'll be local cautions, so if somebody spins out, the yellow will only fly in that area. Then as soon as they can get through that area safely, they'll be back to green flag racing.
Oh yeah, and Dave, with that said, that does mean that if these guys do spin out and go a lap down, they will not be getting those laps back at all.
Not unless they do it the hard way, but 9 out of 10 chances, I'm not really seeing too many people that were able to go a lap down and be able to get those lap backs unless they really do some crazy pitch strategy.
And Dave, right now I'm scanning the field and we have one heavy mover. It's the 87 of Justin Michael deciding not to qualify, starting all the way back in 25th place, and is now currently in 15th place, gaining 10 spots this far, and it's only lap number 2. The 22 of Jack Price drift way high or left, way wide on the left side, leaves a big gap for the 87 of Justin Michael, take it away from him, and he does so without any pressure. And going back up front to our leaders, the 14 of Johnson is keeping a constant gap in between him and the 1 of James O'Brien. And Dave, I'm pretty sure James O'Brien is just backing off because just, these things don't have any brake lights, so it's difficult to tell when someone's braking.
Yeah, most definitely. One of the telltale keys there is when you see him get down into braking and downshifting, if you look on the right side of the machine, you're going to see some backfire and flames. Usually that's a good key to let you know that the driver in front of you is slowing down and downshifting. So that's just one of the keys there to look for, to try to see if the person in front of you is slowing down.
And Dave, one other way to know is when you actually get into his rear seat. But that 14 of Johnson does maintain the gap in between him and the one of James O'Brien. But James O'Brien so far is just hunting him down. And the 7 of Dallas Pataska behind him is trying to catch up to them. But the 9 of John LaBeouf is 0.6 seconds behind the 7 of Dallas Pataska, as these guys do enter the right-hander. The 1 of James O'Brien gets close to 14 of Johnson. Johnson powers off the turn of the right-hander and is now propelling, exiting the turn on the straight.
Well, Sean, we are going to ride on the inside there of James O'Brien from the cockpit view, so we can see what it looks like doing a lap here at Circuit de Spa. So we are going to jump in his cockpit here and watch him work the 14 of Paul D. Johnson.
Oh, under braking, he does get close to the 14 of Johnson, makes up a lot of time, but then powering off, he loses a little bit of time because he did go in a little bit harder. The 14 of Johnson did back up his braking point, therefore had a very smooth transition through the turns. And now, oh, he got sideways, he gets hard into the brakes, is able to hang on to it, but that does open a gap for the 7 of Pataska and the 9 of LaBeouf to get around him. And that 7 of Pataska as well gets sideways, allows the 9 of LaBeouf to get past him with the 1 of James O'Brien on his rear end. James O'Brien backs it up, going up the mountain, lets the 7 of Pataska get by him. And Pataska right now trying his best to get around the 9 of John LaBeouf so he can get back his position.
Well, as we are still looking here in the cockpit of James O'Brien, we've seen him doing 160. Now he's down to 70, down to 70 mile an hour here through the turns. So going from 160 to 160 down to 70 mile an hour, that's got to be hard on these drivers' brakes.
Oh yeah, just like we had seen right there entering turn number 1, the 1 of James O'Brien got into the brakes a little bit too hard to try and slow down, and he did get his car upset. So that's what these guys are trying to avoid doing, is getting to the brakes too hard. Just like you said, they are going all the way from 170 miles an hour down to 70 to take those turns, which is not an easy thing to do. And because of that mistake into turns number 1, that 14 of Johnson did pull away a lot because of it. He was 0.4 seconds ahead of the 1 of James O'Brien, but after that mistake, it did go up to 1.7 seconds.
Going a little further here in the back, we are going to take a look at the 13 of Spa-Francorchamps, currently running in 14th position. It looks like everybody here has kind of got down into single file as these drivers are just making their way through all these numerous turns here, and still putting down some pretty decent lap times there, Sean.
Oh yeah, and right now his biggest victim is the 87 of Justin Michael. He looks like he just let Justin Michael get by him a couple of laps ago, and behind him he's down to 654 of Josh Concord coming up to him. And James, the 87 of Justin Michael's been on the move ever since the green flag had flown. Last time we checked, he was in 15th place, which was 10 spots. I mean, that was him getting 10 spots overall at that point, which was only lap 2. And now he's in position number 12, catching up to the 55 with Karsten Quint. Also looking further back in the pack, let's focus on the 4 of Sammy Holmes. Sammy Holmes does not seem to have any pressure from behind. The 22 of Jack Price is quite a long ways back. But right now, Sammy just taking a Sunday drive, trying to catch up 654 of Conquer, who is trying to challenge the 13 of Jack Price, who goes way wide into turn number 1 and opens a big gap with 654 of Conquer, take it away, and Conquer takes it away without any problems. Oh, Dave, we have one driver on pit road. Heavy damage. That's a 16 of Curtis Aho. Most likely getting that damage repaired or even being towed. But that is very unfortunate for him.
As we take a look, he has got heavy front end damage. So he is down there his pit crew is down there trying to pound things out and get this fixed here. As we go back up, it looks like Dallas Pataska has moved up into second place, getting around the 9:11 of John LeBlanc. Also, it looks like the one of James O'Brien was able to get around him and take over third. But did these guys have enough time to catch the 14 of Paul D. Johnson, who is definitely pulling out some fast lap times?
Oh yeah, actually last time we checked he was 1.7 seconds ahead of second place driver, who at that point was a 9:11 of John LeBlanc. But that has gone up to 2.3, so yeah, he is definitely pulling away quite a bit. But let's focus a little bit further back in the pack for 5th and 6th. The 16th of Charles Paradis and the 27th of Danny Duchesne. These guys just riding single file. They do have the 41 of Chris Perez behind them. They do have a battle of their own going on so far, but they are using each other's draft, so it is benefiting them. That 27 of Danny Duchesne trying to get into the 16th of Charles Paradis' draft as Charles was trying to most likely get him out of the draft, but he was not able to. As they do approach the last turn, let's see what the 27 of Danny Duchesne does. Looks like Danny Duchesne breaks a little bit later. The 16th of Charles Paradis. Oh, the 27 of Danny Duchesne goes sideways. Almost pit entrance there. He was able to get out of those cones unharmed. But that did allow the 41 of Perez to get around him. Oh man. And Dave, looking behind the 27 of Duchesne, we have the 40 of Aaron R. Groskov. You know, last time we checked, you talked about how he had left side damage, but now he has some rear end damage as well. So I guess someone did get into the back of him. And that was most likely due to difference in braking point.
Yeah, most definitely here is it looks like he is still currently running in P8. So he is running inside the top 10 here tonight, but it doesn't look like that damage is slowing him down too much. He is putting up some good lap times still, running about a 2-minute, 25-second lap time as we are on lap 5 with 28 laps to go here at Circuit de Spa.
Looking a little bit further back in the pack, 654 of Conquer on the move, trying to catch up the 5 of Jason Ashby. Jason Ashby as well, trying his best and to catch up to the 3 of Dale Robertson, and unfortunately the 16 of Curtis Aho retiring for the night early on after only 4 laps into the race. That's very unfortunate for Curtis. That 3 of Dale Robertson powers off the turn, gets sideways, but is able to hang on to it. Is now behind, is still behind the 40 of Aaron R. Groskov, but since he did do that power slide exit in the turn, it did lose a little bit of time to the 40 of Groskov.
Going a little further back here, we are focusing now on the 10 of Lance Marsh. Currently running back in P25. It looks like he is just running his time here as he gets a little hard on the brakes, gets slid around a little bit. Definitely going to slow him down, but we got the 55 of Karsten Quint behind him here and the 24 of Corey Blevins. So we've got some fast drivers here in the back. The question, Sean, is I'm not sure about their fuel mileage. I don't know if these guys are going to have to pit tonight or if they're going to be able to run the whole race.
Yeah, they most likely would have to pit at least once, if anything, since they do have a 60% fuel limit. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And Dave, you know, this is not an oval track, so if these guys... Oh, the 10 of Lance Marsh was clutching it on the straight, so maybe he's saving gas. He caught me off guard.
Yeah, most definitely. He might be just trying to extend and stay out, gain some track position that way. We're going to see some different strategies here tonight as we are currently racing in the Do the NT Dash for Cash race brought to you by Precision Racing League and the United Armed Services Oval Series.
Focusing on the 21st position, we do have the 78 of Ronald McManus and the 28 of Eric Roberts. Actually, these guys are spaced out quite a bit. About 9-second gap. The 28 of Eric Roberts enters the last turn. He does have someone from behind. That is the 63 of Ryan Pandicio. And going further back up front, the 7 of Dallas Pataska has been able to close the gap in between him and the 14 of Johnson from 2.3 seconds to 1.8 seconds. So he is making up a lot of time, but Dave, they are battling some lap traffic. They have the 9 of Austin Moore separating them.
Well, it doesn't look like Austin Moore is just going to hold to the outside and let them go. He is not going to hold them up, but that did let Paulie Johnson get a little bit more of a gap as as he is still right about a second ahead of Dallas Pataska.
That 911 of John LaBeouf right now trying his best to hunt down the one of James LeBrun. He goes way wide in the left-hander, but is able to still hang on to it and powers off the turn to try and catch up to that one. Looking further back as well, we have the 5 of Jason Ashby for 10th place. He does have an engine from behind. That is a 6.54 of Josh Conker. Well, Dave, Josh has been on the move ever since the green flag had flown. Started all the way back in 24th place with no qualifying time, and is now battling the 5 of Ashby for the 10th place position.
Yeah, most definitely. He has been on the move here tonight. And just like the 87 of Justin Michael here, as I'm taking a look at the stats, looks like he is now in 16th position, so he has gained 9 positions, as he is currently behind the 22 of Jack Price, who started in 12th position but fell back into 15th. So it looks like this is definitely making out for a great race here, as these guys are battling all over the track. Seems that everybody is kind of shook out and spread out throughout this whole large track.
So looking at the 87 of Justin Michael, Dave, last time we had checked before now, I mean, he was all the way up to, I believe that was 12th place, but fell back down to 16th. And right now, looking at his car, he does have a little bit of a curve in the front end of that Chevy Camaro, but so far it does not seem to be affecting him. He's just regrouping to try and take back all that time that he had lost. And the 6.54 of Josh Conker as well does have damage on that front end.
Yeah, it looks like he was able to get around the 5 of Jason Ashby and take over that 10th position here, as we are now on lap 7 with 26 laps to go. So they also looks like they're right behind Ashby is the 55 of Karsten Quinn. So these guys are all bunched up here. So it'll be interesting to see who's going to take the Dash for Cash, or if one of the wild cards can sweep and take all the money and walk away with a $100 prize.
And also a driver been spoken much of, if any, tonight. That is the 21 of Trevor White, currently being shown here in 22nd place. Heavy damage on that front end of that Ford Mustang. That is not good on his part. Right now he is headed down pit road. Oh, he is being followed by the 78 of Ron McManus. Well, Dave, at least that does answer our question on whether or not they do have to pit. They are the first 2 drivers to go down pit road.
Yeah, the question is maybe this is an early pit strategy, get in so they can get in and get all their fuel, or if they're in there to try to repair some damage.
And watching that 21 of Trevor White, he does take all 4 tires, but nope, he does not stay down pit road. I figured he would stay down pit road to try and get some of that damage fixed on the front end, but decides, hey, this car is doing good enough. I'm good, so just don't fix it. Just give me 4 tires and gas, and I'm good to go. And he does roll off pit road here nice and smooth. And the 78 of Ronald McManus as well. Nope, Ronald McManus still on pit road, getting some service. Yeah, Ron has been on pit road for quite a bit now, so he most likely does have some damage, but that damage didn't seem to be too bad, but he's now rolling off as we speak. Well, Dave, since we do have 2 drivers who've already pitted in, that does influence the rest of the field. And speaking of the rest of the field, we have more drivers pitting in. The 911 of John LaBeouf, the 41 of Chris Perez down pit road as well. 27 of Danny Duchesne puts that thing down pit road as well, pitting in this time by some heavy damage on that right rear. Well, Dave, let's focus on the 27 of Danny Duchesne on pit road, just so we can see what it takes. It looks like that left side does go up, it drops down, left side's down, the right side goes up. That is a 4-tire pit stop. Is he gonna stay on pit road longer? Yes, he will, most likely getting some of that damage fixed to try and beat that car out so it can get better speed using the aerodynamics. But that 5 of Jason Ashby does get around him off of pit road. He is now being shown in 13th place. And the 4 of Sammy Holmes is on pit road, 22 of Jack Price, Justin Michael, 28 Eric Roberts, 62 of Ryan Pandisio, but those leaders have not yet pitted in. Going back up front, Dave, second place, the battle between the 7 of Pataska and the 1 of James O'Brien, but they do go back single file. The 1 of O'Brien most likely trying to set him up for the pass. And looks like the 7 of Pataska does hold it nice and strong, but the more these guys battle once again, the more the 14 of Paul D. Johnson pulls away.
Yeah, it's good to see Paul D. Johnson in that Big D's Transport 14 machine. He is definitely out there laying down some lap times there. Unfortunate that his teammate, the 16 of Curtis Howe, had to retire early tonight, but he is definitely representing his team well out here, leading on lap 8 of 33 with 25 laps to go.
Oh, we have some trouble on the track. One driver who had spun out. Looks like that's a 24 of Corey Blevins. Comes back right up onto the track, and he was clear. That didn't collect anybody else. By the looks of it, he was not harmed. It was just a spin that didn't involve any impact.
Yeah, it's highly unfortunate. That is going to hurt him there, as it is going to put him a lap down. As you see him go way wide there in the turn, and he's just letting the faster cars go by down underneath. As he looks like he is now making his way down on pit road with the 1 of James O'Brien and the 7 of Dallas Pataska.
That unfortunately does put the 24 of Corey Blevins a lap down, because the leader just overtook him right as they all went down pit road, including himself. So he's most likely going to try and push to try and get his lap back the hard way, but at a road course like this, it's very difficult to do.
Well, that is going to put the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. He is going to be putting a big hurt here, as he is going to pull out to a big lead. That is going to put the 66 of Charles Paradas in second place. As I'm taking a look here, it looks like Charles has not pitted yet either, so he will have to come down pit road as well.
And that 14 of Johnson Dave just overtook the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, and Jeffrey Ford, Dave, as well, does have some right side damage, heavy right side damage. So by the looks of it, actually, when I went back to that replay, it looked like the 24 of Blevins spun out and got into power slid into the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, who as well was sideways. They did make heavy contact. That did give the 95 of Ford a heavy dent in that right side. And right now he's just going slow on the track, letting everybody by.
You know, taking a look here, it looks like the 40 of Aaron Graskoff is currently being shown on my screen here. P5, as he is already pitted, so he has gained some positions here, as he is being shown behind the 1 of James O'Brien.
His pit stop was a 12.1 second pit stop, just like everybody else. It was pretty much in the same time interval, so that was quite the pit stop on his part, or pit strategy executed, bumping himself up into 5th place, even though he did start all the way back there in 8th place. So it was just 3 spots down. He was able to make up all that time that he lost on that restart.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick commercial break here, so get you a chance to refill your drink, refill your snacks, and we will be right back to bring you the remainder here of the Circuit de Spa by Precision Racing League. We will be right back.
Father went back in 82. Mother not long after him.
Grandma's gone? Grandpa's gone? Mum says Nan's next.
Everyone I love has gone.
Yeah, my wife. She's gone to a better place. So I thought I'd join her.
Don't look back to the things you never have. Don't say never, say now what you waiting for. Oh, my eyes are open wider than the whole world. Oh, the sky is open wider than the whole world.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Precision Racing League. Do the NT Dash for Cash race number 1, part of the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series by Dean Stone. Going back to the race, everybody has gone down pit road at this point. And Dave, you did point out something while we're during commercial. The one of James O'Brien did go down pit road a second time, and by the looks of it, that was most likely him serving a green flag or black flag. I guess I should say green flag penalty, which was a 15-second penalty down pit road, unfortunately for him. But he is being shown back there in 10th place after starting in 2nd.
Well, with that, it looks like currently in 2nd place we have the 911 of John LeBlanc. Currently in 2nd position there, about a second and a half behind the 14 of Paul E. Johnson. Sitting in 3rd position will be the 41 of Chris Perez, who is riding just behind him, and then right behind Chris will be the 7 of Dallas Pataska.
And Dave, when we did have those green flag pit stops, the 911 of John Lubbock was in 3rd place. He did have the 7 of Dallas Pataska in front of him. So after those green flag pit stops, Dave, he was able to make up a lot of time, put the 7 of Pataska behind him, and narrow down the lead of the 14 of Johnson to less than 1 second.
Well, we do know that 911 of John LeBlanc is a wild card driver, so he is trying to win this race so that he can take the full $100 here tonight to steal it away from the 6 drivers that are competing for the Dash for Cash race.
And speaking of the Dash for Cash race, Dave, we have the 41 of Chris Perez right behind the 911 of Lubbock. And the 41 of Perez, once again, is one of the drivers in the Dash for Cash race. He's trying to catch up the 911 of Lubbock, and Lubbock as well, in turn, is trying to catch up the 14 of Johnson. So far, Johnson's not having a Sunday drive because he does have some pressure from behind.
Yeah, we still got a lot of race to go with 22 laps here. We are getting up close here to the halfway point. These drivers know that as they are battling it out here on this extremely large track here. Actually, it's almost a 4.3 mile track, so these guys got a long way here. It's not like a normal 4-turn track that we normally see these cars on, making left-hand turns. But these drivers are definitely putting a good show on for all the viewers at home.
And Dave, these leaders are catching up to a slower car or a lap car. It's going to be going a lap down. That's the 11 of Brandon Massey. And right now, Brandon Massey is being shown a little bit of damage on the front end and also some on the rear end. So Dave, most cars we've seen so far already have damage due to difference in braking and just pretty much rubbings racing.
Yeah, most definitely here. I'm not sure if we're going to see anybody who have no incident points here. Is even driving off of the course there, getting into the grass, that's going to give you an incident point. But we've seen a few clean cars here, but he does look good. And that Marine Corps Camaro there, definitely showing his support for the armed services.
And a status check on the 87 of Justin Michael, moving all the way up into 10th place, gaining 15 spots overall. Oh, the 28 of April, but spins out into the last turn and smacks that one real hard. Oh, let's try and focus on him on replay if we can.
Well, as we pull up the Dre Broadcasting replay here, focusing on the 28 of Eric Roberts here. As we go back here and rewind the play here to see exactly what happened, it looked like he just got a little loose there coming out of the turn.
And that was very, very unfortunate for him. He got a little bit too early onto that gas, a little bit too hard, too early. Smacked that one, but fortunately enough, nobody else was involved. And right now, oh, he actually gets loose going up the mountain. He's still pushing about 120 miles an hour and climbing, but that front end is not looking pretty at all.
Yeah, he's got some heavy damage to that machine. So I don't know if it'll be able to make it. Hopefully that motor will be able to last here for the remaining 21 laps.
So status check on the 10 of Lance Marsh, who did start in 32nd place. He's currently being shown here in 26th position. One lap down, trying to catch up to 24 of Corey Blevins. And Corey Blevins was the driver who went a lap down right before he pitted in with the leaders. And right now trying his best to make up as much time as he can from what he had lost. And once again, Corey Blevins is our current season standings leader. He is from Flat Out Motorsports. Looking a little bit further up front, the 654 of Conquer right behind the 3 of Darryl Robertson. These guys are battling for 7th place. The 654 of Conquer takes the turn better, exiting. He gets a big run. 3 of Robertson almost gets into him, but is able to hang on to it. And gets around the 3 of Robertson, successful in the straight. And earlier, Dave, we did talk about the damage that 654 of Conquer had sustained, but so far he is proving that damage wrong, but it's not affecting him any.
Now, as he is currently running inside the top 10, we've seen him do some great lap times here, so he is definitely putting on the charge here, as unfortunately he is not a wild card or in for the chase, but he is definitely wanting to do as good as he can to carry that momentum into next week.
And Dave, we have a position change for 2nd and 3rd place. The 7 of Dallas Pataska was able to go all the way from 4th place last time we had checked on him up to 2nd place, getting around the 911 of John Lubbock and bumping him down into 3rd place. Right now, the 911 of John Lubbock was overtaken by the 41 of Chris Perez. So John Lubbock just went from 2nd place to 4th place the last time we checked on him.
Well, taking a look here, Dallas Pataska currently running in 2nd position. He is just under 4 seconds behind the 14 of Paul D. Johnson, who has led every lap here so far. So Paul D. Johnson is definitely putting on a clinic in that Ford Mustang Big D's Transport. So he is just out there running his race. He is looks like, as far as I can see, his car is pretty clean here as he is maneuvering here through the S-turns and coming out and getting hard onto that throttle and getting back up to speed.
And that 7 Pataska does exit the last turn as well across the start finish line. This time by, let's see where he puts him. That puts him 4.2 seconds behind the 14 of Johnson. Last time he was 4.8 seconds. So he has gained 0.6 seconds on the 14 of Johnson. At this rate, he might be able to catch him before the next green flag pit stops. And Dave, I believe the pit window for these guys is from lap number 7 to lap number 10, because the latest we had seen drivers pit was after they had 10 laps on their tires.
Yeah, most definitely here as we are approaching right about the halfway point mark. These drivers know that this race is getting over here soon, as they are definitely battling it out. Currently in our top 5, we have Paul D. Johnson with the lead, the 7 of Dallas Pataska in 2nd, the 41 of Chris Perez 3rd, the 911 of John LaBeouf in 4th, and the 66 of Charles Baradas in 5th position.
Looking a little bit further back in the pack, we have the 55 of Karsten Quint catching up to the 1 of James O'Brien. James O'Brien just lost a spot to the 13 of Jean-Francois and the 5 of Jason Ashby. So I'm not sure if James does have damage. Actually, nope, he is rolling, doing about 160 miles an hour plus on the straight, coming to the turn. And right now he does seem to have a little bit of a scratch in the front end, but not too bad to slow him down.
Going a little further back here, we have the 092 of Dean Stone currently running in 21st. He is the last car on the lead lap here. He is also the sponsor for the Dash for Cash and do the NT Dash for Cash race. But he is just laying down some pretty consistent lap times, just kind of riding back here in 21st.
And Dave, we have a second round of green flag pit stops go. Oh, we have one driver smoking heavily on the track, exiting the last turn. That is a 21 of Trevor White. That is some heavy black smoke. Looks like that just happened on entry, the last turn.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he might have downshifted a little too much, and it caused that motor to blow. Now the question is he going to have enough motor to be able to get back around the track and into pit road here? As it looks like he is kind of pulling down off to the side there. Yep, he is going to make it down onto pit road, but that is going to be some extensive damage to repair that.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. We can just hope that his pit crew has enough time to get that thing back out onto the road or onto the track before the race ends. And we did have some green flag pits at the 20. That was the 60 of Cotton Lane pitting in for the second time last lap. And right now, Cotton Lane is being shown in 16th place behind the 22 of Jack Price. And going back up front, Dave, let us check on the two leaders. The first and second place driver, 14 of Johnson, was able to pull away about 1.2 seconds from the last time we had checked on him on the 7 of Dallas Pataska. Last time it was 4.2 seconds, 4.2 second gap, but now it's increased to about 5.1. But they do have a big gap in between them and the 666 of Charles Paredes for third place, which is 14 seconds in between. Looking at the 28 of Eric Roberts, currently being shown here in 28th place, still going nice and strong with the heavy damage that he sustained from smacking that wall on the last turn exiting the S's. But right now he is being shown in 18th place, trying to catch up to the 45 of Eddie Hawks, who is way up ahead of him. Trouble on the track, Dave, to right, Panisio hard into the grass. Looks like his roof is missing the numbers. I mean, the numbers are scratched off, so he most likely flipped it.
Oh, he's got heavy damage all around that car, but he is keeping it out on the track here as he is currently running back in 20th position.
Oh, yeah, that's very unfortunate for Ryan Pandisha. Looks like he just went a little bit sideways. He was doing some drifting into the turn, but ended up overcorrecting it while trying to save it. And that did cause him to go leftward into the wall, but right now he's still going nice and strong. That damage most likely will affect him quite a bit on those straightaways. He has the 14 of Johnson catching up to him, and that is the leader, Paul D. Johnson, catching up to the 60 right Panisio. Most likely going to be going a lap down. Yes, he pushed over to the left side to let him by. That does put him a lap down. And that 21 of Trevor White still down pit road this time by getting that damage fixed. And Ryan Pandisio right now headed down pit road this time by for his second round of green flag pit stops. Oh, the 7 of Pataska as well down pit road behind his still Ryan Pandisio. And because of the difference in pit strategies, we do have a lot of drivers a lap down, all the way from Danny Duchesne being shown in 20th place, all the way down to the 95 of Jeffrey Ford for 29th. And focusing on the 66 of Charles Paredes, we do have him trying to catch up to the 14 of Johnson before he goes down for his second green flag pit stop for the night, but he most likely won't be able to pull it off because they do have a 14-second gap. But his next closest car is the 27 of Danny Duchesne. As we're looking for the back in the pack, Dave, the 1 of James O'Brien right now making up a lot of time trying to get around the 41 of Chris Perez for 8th place. Oh, actually, the 41 of Perez was able to get on the 1 of James O'Brien. That did bump him down into 9th. But Chris Perez is catching out to the 7 of Dallas Pataska. But it looks of it that is for position. And now we have a few drivers left to pit. The 14 of Johnson is one of the drivers. 654 Ponker, Dale Robertson, Justin Michael, Jacques Francois, James O'Brien, Sammy Holmes, Karsten Quint, Eddie Hawks, and Eric Roberts. These guys still do need to go down pit road, but that 14 of Johnson still decided to stay out. That 6.54 of Josh Conquer making up a lot of time right now, trying to catch the 6 of Charles Paradis, but he was able to gain quite a few seconds this past lap.
Well, so we're going to go here on the in-car with the 6x4 of Conquer to see if he can catch up to that car in front of him as we see him working that wheel, getting and the gas and the brake air getting around this track.
Oh, he comes up on the 95 of Jeffrey Ford quickly and has to slow down. He gives a bump of lifetime, moves him to the right side, and gets around him successfully exiting the mountain. So that 95 of Jeffrey Ford is going real slow right now because he does have some heavy damage. Actually, Dave, that damage has increased from the last time we had checked on him, so he most likely did get into an incident that we missed. That 95 of Jeffrey Ford does go to the left side, lets the 3 of Darrell Robertson by unharmed. Well, Dave, with all the damage we're seeing on all these cars, it just goes to show that these oval cars are not the best things to drive on a road course.
Yeah, it's real difficult, but these drivers are definitely making the best of it here as we are now beyond the halfway point. We have 16 laps remaining here at Circuit de Spa, still being led by this 14 of Paul D. Johnson, who has led every lap here tonight so far.
And right now he does have 8 laps on his tires. A lot of drivers have already pitted in. The 4 of Sammy Holmes down pit road, the 5 of Carson Quint down pit road, the 22 Jack Price, Ryan Pandicio, and Ronald McManus all down pit road. But the 14 of Johnson, 6 of Charles Paradis, Darrell Robertson, Josh Conquer, Dallas Pataska, all these guys do need to pit in. Looking further back in the pack, the son of Justin Michael moved up all the way to 10th place right now, trying to catch the 911 of John Leboeuf, but John Leboeuf does seem to be way up ahead of him. That is because they did pit in at different times, and Justin Michael already pitted in about 1 lap ago. The 911 of John Leboeuf catching up to 13 of Jean-Francois. That is for position. He runs up on him, is just behind him. Looks to his right side. He backs it off, lets the 13 of Jean-Francois take it. Entering the left-hander, he does downshift that second, but the 13 of Jean-Francois powers off better, exiting the left-hander. 911 John Leboeuf almost bumps 13 of Jean-Francois, but Jean-Francois gets on that gas pedal, increases the gap in between him and the 911 Leboeuf. But Leboeuf right now trying his best to make up all that time under braking.
Well, Sean, just taking a look at my standings here, if the race was to end right now, it looks like Dallas Pataska would be our winner of the $40 for the Dash for Cash race, as he is currently running in 4th position.
Oh yeah, Dave, and these guys right now do realize that it is go time, Dave. You know, it's a road course. There's no such thing as riding to save tires. I believe there's no such thing as saving tires with these cars. So these guys are trying their best to catch up to those leaders to try and avoid going more laps down. That 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne down pit road this time, but actually just rolling out as we speak. That 911 of John Leboeuf was able to get around the 13 of Jean-Francois, who just put it in.
You know, Sean, it looks like the 14 of Hardy Johnson's got about 9 laps on his tires. He's still leading. In 2nd place is the 3 of Dale Robertson, who's got about 10 laps on his tires. And then, of course, the 1 of James O'Brien and the 45 of Eddie Hawks. Looks like they all still need to come down for some green flag pit stops.
And also including the 1 of James O'Brien. You know, he did pit in twice the last time. He did lose a lot of time because of it. He went all the way down below the top 10, but he's now back in the top 10 in 7th place. But once again, he has not yet pitted in. So once he does pit in, he most likely will lose quite a few spots to those drivers behind him, namely Jean-Francois, the 911 John Leboeuf, and Aaron Groskopf. And looking for the back in the pack, the 4 of Sammy Holmes right now being shown in 13th place behind the 5 of Jason Ashby, and behind him, 4 seconds back, is the 55 of Karsten Quint. And Corey Blevins as well being shown here in 22nd place, still a lap down, still gaining a lot of time, pushing that sucker to try and make up as much time as he can before going down pit road again. Going up front, Dave, second place driver, the 3 of Dale Robertson, going down pit road this time by. And during the last pit stops, the longest I've seen them go was 10 laps on a tank before pitting in. But right now, the 14 of Johnson is on lap number 10, so he most likely will be bringing it down pit road this time.
Well, if that math is correct, Sean, that means we are going to have one more round of pit stops before the final race. Before we can finish this race. So these drivers are going to have to pit one more time tonight if they cannot go past the 10 laps.
Oh yeah, we're going to have to see if that happens. And I'm pretty sure if they do have to pit at least once, we are going to see a few drivers, Dave, staying out to try and, backing down their speed to try and save some gas. For the back in the pack, 654 of Josh Conquer up to 7th place behind the 911 of John Lubbock. That seems to be catching up to John Lubbock quite a bit. And that one of James O'Brien being moved all the way from 7th place up into 5th place this time by. And Dave, that 14 of Cody Johnson, our race leader, is exiting the last turn, Carson start finish line this time by. Let's stay on him and see if he pits in. Oh, nope. Looks like he did miss that pit entrance, so he is going one more lap. This is going to be 11 laps on his tires. So, Dave, I guess that is it for the green flag pit stops. Only 2 are required.
Well, Sean, let's see, he has currently got 11 laps. We currently have 13 to go. So he would have to at least be able to go one more lap, complete lap around in order to be able to make it on one more pit stop. But he does have a pretty good lead here as he is now currently right about 30 seconds ahead of the 7 of Dallas Pataska, who is currently in second position.
And Dallas Pataska is being shown 27 seconds behind him and has 5 laps on his tires, 6 more or 6 less than the 14 of Cody Johnson. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to find out whether or not they do have to pit at least one more time. Looking for the back in the pack, the 87 of Justin Michael applying pressure at the 40 of Aaron R. Grosskopf. Let's run on the in car of the 87 of Justin Michael. Looks like the 40 of Grosskopf was able to power off the mountain turn better than the 87 of Justin Michael and keeps the gap in between them consistent. So the 87 of Justin Michael is not going to be able to make a move going to the next turn this lap. Justin Michael getting ever close to the 40 of Grosskopf, but Grosskopf powers off the turn and is now going to turn number 9. Justin Michael gets close to the bumper of the 40 of Grosskopf, but Grosskopf puts it down as well, keeps the gap in between them consistent. Justin Michael tries to look the inside, but the 40 of Grosskopf drives the defensive line and keeps Justin Michael behind him. Oh, Justin Michael makes contact with the 40 of Grosskopf, tries to move him, but Grosskopf still putting on a hard fight to keep him behind him. They are side by side. Justin Michael occupies the left side, 40 of Grosskopf occupies the right side. 40 of Grosskopf backs it off to try and do the over and under, but doesn't have enough time to do it. And make contact. It's just Michael and 40th Cross go both off the track. They're able to hang on to those cars. They are still battling side by side, make contact again. They both go sideways. It's just Michael must smash that one, but he's able to stay out of it and stay out of traffic. Well, Dave, that was quite the battle between those two drivers. Unfortunately, it had to end like that. But right now, the 40 of Roscoe was just overtaken by the 5 of Jason Ashby.
Well, Sean, it looks like we do have a lead change here. We have the 7 of Dallas Pataska, who will be our current race leader here, as it looks like 14 of Paul D. Johnson has came down pit road, which allowed the 7 of Dallas Pataska to get around him and take that lead away.
We have one car off track, looks like that is the 59 of David White, but he's able to stay out of traffic and everybody gets around him unharmed. Yeah, right now the 14 of Johnson trying to take back what's rightfully his, that first place position. Well, Dave, I guess we can conclude that the 14 of Johnson staying out the longest is not the best thing for him to do, because, you know, he did lose a lot of time because of it and lost, I guess, 2 to 3 spots due to the difference in pit strategy. And that was most likely because of him being on older tires compared to them having newer tires. He has 654 of Congo loses inside, trying to challenge it. 654 Congo gets around him successfully and bumps him down even further. Unfortunately, we have some more drivers disconnecting or retiring for the night. Steven Aguiar is one of the drivers. Curtis Aho, Danny Duchesne, Brandon Massey, Trevor White, and also Jeffrey Ford. Actually, Danny Duchesne is back. We have the 654 of Josh Conger catching up to the 911 of John LeBap, who is catching up to the 092 of Dean Stone. He is a lap car. Goes left side to left. Both drivers by 654 of Conger and 911 of John LeBap both get around him successfully. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick commercial break real quick. We'll be right back so you guys can get some more popcorn and refreshments. So stay tuned.
Father went back in 82. Mother not long after him.
Grandma's gone? Grandpa's gone? Mum says Nan's next.
Everyone I love has gone.
Yeah, my wife. She's gone to a better place. So I thought I'd join her.
Don't look back to the things you never have. Don't say never, say now what you waiting for. Oh, my eyes are open wider than the whole world. Oh, the sky is open wider than the whole world.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Do the NT Dash for Cash race number 1 here at Circuit de Spa. This is once again the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series by Dean Stone. Going back to the race, we do have a 7 of Dallas Patasca still in the race, but a battle for second place, actually for third place, 654 of Conqueror and the 911 of John Love. Dave, these guys have been going at it like, I don't know, like cats and dogs. They are battling side by side as we speak. Let's focus on the 911 of Love so we can watch them work. Oh, they make contact exiting the turn, but the 911 John is able to hang on to it. 654 of Josh Conquer. They do go nose to tail. They do go back to single file. 654 of Josh Conquer, man of the mission, pulling away. John Lava driving it real hard. Gonna try and take it away from him because that was rightfully his position, that third place position. That 654 of Conquer as well has been on the move ever since the green flag had flown, and Dave, he's gone all the way from 24th place to 4th place, this time by gaining 20 spots overall in 24 laps. And the gap in between the 13 of the 911 of John Lava and the 654 of Conquer is getting bigger. And that did bump the 911 of Love down to 4th place, but going back up front, the 7 of Dallas Patasca does have 8 laps on his tires. And I do believe, Dave, that the 14 of Johnson pitted in with, I believe he had 11 to 12 laps on his tires. So it's going to be interesting to see what these guys have in mind, because by the looks of it, the 7 of Patasca does need to pit in one more time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the 14 of Paul D. Johnson will have to pit one more time, or if he did his pit strategy just enough, as we see the 7 of Dallas Patasca now making his way down on the pit road.
And Dave, thinking about it, maybe 14 of Johnson had a perfect strategy in mind. I mean, him staying out like that, it did seem as though he lost a lot of time because of that. But maybe he does not need to pit in because of how late he had stayed. Actually, that might be the case, because Dave, he does have only 3 laps on his tires. Compared to Dallas, who had 8 to 9 laps on his.
Well, with the 7 of Dallas Patasca, the 41 of Chris Perez, the 911 of John LaBeouf all pitting, that is going to give the race lead over to the 654 of Josh Conquer, putting the 14 of Paul D. Johnson in 2nd place.
And once across the start finish line, this time by the 654 of Josh Conquer is going to be the new race leader on lap number 26, and that is going to be his first lap led. Oh man, he goes sideways into the turn. He's able to hang on to it. Nope, he goes sideways some more, able to still hang on to it, and gets back straight and still going unharmed. Well, Dave, that's going to be the most impressive thing to do, starting in 24th place, no qualifying time, to actually being able to lead at least 1 lap before the race ends.
Yeah, most definitely, but he is going to have to come down on the pit road here, as he has got 7 laps on his tires, so he is going to have to pit one more time here, as we are waiting for him to get down into the start-finish line for our stats to update.
And unfortunately, we have lost another driver, the 18 of Justin Michael, retiring for the night. Looking further back in the pack, we do have the 3 of Dale Robertson running in 6th place and is behind the 911 of John LaBeouf. But his closest victim behind him is the 66 of Charles Paradis. And also focusing on the 40 of Aaron Grosskopf, he does have some heavy damage that he sustained from after making contact with the Justin Michael during their battle for the position. He does have that damage on his car, but so far it doesn't seem to be affecting him at all, so he is really pushing that car. Also focusing on the 4 of Sammy Holmes, back in 12th place, is catching up to the 1 of James O'Brien, but James O'Brien as well picked up the pace right now, trying to make up as much time as possible after making his mistake on pit road during the first run of green flag pit stops. He is catching up to 55 of Karsten Quint, and that is for position. And there we go, Dave, the 654 of Josh Conquer, new race leader here on lap number 26. 41 of Chris Perez being shown back, bumped down into 4th place. Dallas Pataska 3rd place. But Dallas Pataska right now is just exiting the mountain turn, the hill turn, and is trying to catch up to 14 of Johnson. They are 11 seconds apart. That 5 of Jason Ashby going down pit road this time by. Oh, Dave, let's focus on the 5 of Ashby, and just so we can monitor his pit stop or see what it's gonna be like. He's gonna take 4, 2 tires or no tires. Left side is up, and so is the right side. That is a 4-tire pit stop with a full tank of gas. And his 55 of Carsten Quick behind him as well, just pitting in this time. Looking for the back in the pack, Dave, at the 10 of Lance Marsh, starting all the way back in 32nd place, currently being shown in 24th place, still holding on nice and strong, and so far he does not seem to have it. Yes, he does have some left front damage and a little bit of right front damage, but he's still going nice and strong. His next victim is 78 of Ronald McManus for position. And folks, in the 55 of Karsten Quint in 10th place, he does have the 4 of Sammy Holmes in his sights. By the looks of it, that is definitely for position. At the moment, the 4 of Sammy Holmes does seem to be a little bit out of the draft, but the 55 of Karsten does seem to be a little bit out of the draft with the 4 of Holmes. Going back up front, the 3 of Darryl Robertson holding on to the 4th place position, nice and strong, catching up to the 41 of Chris Perez. And by the looks of it, the 41 of Perez was able to run on 3 of Robertson, bumping him down to 5th place and bumping himself up to 4th. Well, Dave, let's run on the car of 66 of Charles Paradis. The 3 of Robertson does go to the right side. Nope, he is pitting in this time by. So Darryl Robertson pitting in this time by. And Dave, we did miss it, but 654 of Conqueror was down pit road, just exited this time by, going on the straightaway after that mountain turn. And that did give the race lead back to the 14 of Johnson. Six, 5-4 of Josh Conquer, 9-11 of Labov catching each other once again. Well, Dave, let's ride on the in car of the 6-5-4 of Conquer so we can watch him do what he did a few laps ago to the 9-11 of Labov. He looks at his right side. They're going to be side by side. They do hold it nice and tight. The 6-5-4 of Conquer gets on the 9-11 of Labov nice and strong and bumps it back down to 7th place. Yeah, by the looks of it, Labov just let off to let 654 of Josh Conquer by. He's just going to pretty much ride in his draft and try and catch up the cars in front of them.
Well, Sean, going back up front, it does look like the 14 of Paulie Johnson was able to work his way back up into the race lead, as he is now our current race leader. And I am currently showing him right about 5 seconds ahead of the 7 of Dallas Pataska, who is running in P2.
Well, Dave, last time I checked, the 7 of Pataska was 11 seconds behind the 14 of Johnson. And Dave, keep in mind that Dallas Pataska did pit in and has 3 laps less on his tires than the 14 of Cody Johnson, and is now catching up to him, gains 10 seconds back from the 14 of Johnson. So by the looks of it, Johnson has backed it down to try and save gas or something.
Actually, Sean, it looks like I was incorrect. It does look like the 7 of Dallas Pataska is in our race lead, The 14 of Paul D. Johnson is in second, and he is right about 9 to 10 seconds behind the 7 of Dallas Pataska, who is wanting that extra $40 so he can walk away tonight with $50 in his pocket for winning the Do the NT Dash for Cash race here at Circuit de Spa.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. That just updated. The 14 of Johnson was in the lead, but the 7 of Pataska was able to get around him, putting him 6 seconds back into second place. But now the 41 of Perez is catching up to him, but he does have the 092 of Stone separating both two drivers. Well, Dave, that is a job well done on the 7 of Pataska. He was able to execute successful green flag pit stops and make up a lot of time, taking it away from the 7 from the 14 of Johnson. And focusing on the 41 of Chris Perez, he is catching up to that 14 of Cody Johnson, and that is for second place. Well, Dave, let's run on the in-car of the 41 of Chris Perez, so we can watch him work. He does brake sooner entering the turn, but exiting the turn, he does power up nice and smooth and catches the 14 of Cody Johnson. Is going to be running him down. 14 of Johnson stays to the right to let him bind the left side. Dave, Johnson has slowed down a lot from the last time we had checked on him in the beginning after him leading all those laps. Just like I had said, he most likely is saving gas, or maybe him staying out and him not taking 4 tires just might be starting to bite him.
Yeah, most definitely here as we are currently 6 laps to go here. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty here at the go time. These drivers know that. They put on a heck of a show for us tonight. We've seen a lot of battles. As it just updated, we are now 5 laps to go as the leader has now crossed the start finish. So we've got 5 laps remaining here at Circuit de Spa for Do the NT Dash for Cash race.
So looking further back in the pack was 5th place, the 654 of Josh Conker, able to increase the gap in between him and his biggest rival tonight, the 911 of John Laboff. He was able to put about a 4-second gap in between those two drivers. And right now he does have the 1 of James O'Brien, trying to make as many moves as possible, trying to make as much time, make up as much time as possible. You know, just like I had said after his mistake early on in the race. That 5 of Jason Ashby powers off turn number 1 with a 59 of David White on his tail. He's able to increase the gap in between those two drivers, as 59 of David White does have some heavy damage on that Chevy Camaro. And looking at Austin Moore, Dave, in 20th place. We haven't spoken much of him, if any, tonight. He is being shown here in 20th behind 28 of Eric Roberts. And going back up front, we do have a gap in between the 41 of Perez and the 7 of Pataska of about 12 seconds. That does put the 14 of Cody Johnson down into 3rd, 6-6 of Charles Paradis into 4th, 6-5-4 of Josh Conker in 5th. Speaking of 6-6 of Charles Paradis, he was able to get around this. Nope, 6-5-4 of Conker is behind the 6-6 of Charles Paradis and the 14 of Johnson. Yeah, that 6-5-4 of Josh Conker was able to get around the 14 of Johnson. So Johnson, Dave, has been bumped all the way down into 5th place by the looks of it so far.
Well, it looks like the 654 Josh Conker's now got his eyes in focus all over the 66 machine of Charles Paradis, as he is now working him here through a sharp hard right-hand turn. He gets to the inside, and it looks like the 66 of Charles Paradis got a little loose, had to let off, and that let the 654 of Josh Conker get around him.
And further back, we did have the 9-11 of John Love get around the 14 of Johnson, and so did the 27 of Danny Duchesne get around the 14 of Cody Johnson. So far, Johnson does seem to be losing a lot of spots due to that difference in pit strategy. Dave, the gap in between the 7 of Pataska and the 41 of Chris Perez did increase that last lap to about 13.2 seconds, which was a second faster, or a second more than the last lap. And in front of him, he does the car going off the track. That was a 10 of last March. Looking at the 45 of Eddie Hawks back in 16th place, it is being shown the last car on the lead lap, trying to catch up the 60 of Compton Lane, who's been putting on quite the show as well on his own here, trying to get around the track, trying to catch up to 22 of Jack Price. Well, Dave, those green flag pit stops did spread out the field because we do have a lot of drivers at different sections of the track, and so far we don't really have much close racing going on because these guys are racing the track and they're racing themselves.
Yeah, most definitely. Just like in the oval side here, the pit stops are definitely key. Pit strategy definitely plays a very strong part here as we were watching the 7 of Dallas Pastrana, the dash car, just start coming through the start-finish line here. So we now have 3 laps to go here at Circuit de Spa. I'm sorry, making 4 laps remaining. So these laps are kicking down here. Is currently 7 of Dallas Pataska, who is one of the Dash for Cash racers, is currently leading, followed by the 41 of Chris Perez and the 654 of Josh Conker, currently in 3rd position.
And focusing a little bit further back in the pack, the 13 of Jean-Francois right behind the 5 of Ashley, actually 9 seconds behind him and 5 seconds ahead of the 40 of Aaron R. Groskov. Aaron has been going strong, nice and strong, despite him having damage on that 40 Ford Mustang machine of his. But he is trying to make up as much time as possible, but he is running a lot of fast lap times. And that 66 of Charles Paradis is now 2 seconds ahead of the 14 of Cody Johnson. But it looks a bit... Oh, actually, Cody Johnson is clutching that sucker in, Dave, on the straightaway. So he is saving gas. Just hope they can be able to make it. Yeah, but because of it, he is being overtaken by pretty much everybody. Just that gets onto his back bumper due to that difference in speed.
Most definitely here, so it looks like that pit strategy is not playing out as we've got 3 laps to go here. So we have a 3-lap shootout here, still being led by the 7 of Dallas Pataska in 1st. In 2nd place, Chris Perez in the 41, and Josh Conker in the 6x4. John LaBeouf in 4th, and the 66 of Charles Paradis in 5th position.
And we are coming to the 2 to go mark this time by the 7 of Pataska does enter the SS. This is the last turn. He powers off nice and smooth, crossing the start finish line this time by, and it is 2 to go. Well, Dave, by the looks of it, the 7 of Pataska, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he will be able to bring this thing home unchallenged, because his biggest opponent so far, his next opponent in line, the 41 of Perez, is 13 seconds behind him, and that is a long time to make up.
Yeah, most definitely the 7 of Dallas Pataska has been real fast tonight in that Chevy Camaro POWMIA Tribute Camaro. So he's been real quick here tonight, but he has just put on a pretty good clinic. Even though we did see the 14 of Cody Johnson leading the most laps, but it seems that Dallas Pataska just had a better grasp on the pit strategy and is able to currently take the lead here as he is working his way around the track, getting ready to take the white flag.
And focusing on the 911 of John LaBeouf, he is trying to catch the 6.54 of Josh Conker, but is now 10 seconds behind him as they were battling a couple of laps ago. The 6.54 of Conker's moves have paid off so far, able to increase the gap in between him and the 911 of LaBeouf, but right now LaBeouf is right behind the 27 of Danny Duchesne, and Danny Duchesne has picked up the pace ever since he went a lap down. Yeah, and right now Danny Duchesne trying to catch up to the 60 of Cotton Lane to get around him, because he is the next car in line of position. And we still have the 63 of Ryan Pandisio down pit road, still getting that damage fixed. For the back in the pack, we have a 22 of Jack Price, back in 14th place, being the last car on the lead lap, trying his best not to go a lap down before this thing ends, because they have only one more lap remaining once a little bit start finish line, and this is the one to go mark for the leader. Oh, actually looks like, oh, yep, that is the one to go mark. That caught me off guard a little bit. Looks like the start finish line, Dave, is technically at the beginning of the mountain going up the hill here at this track. But that 41 of Chris Perez still has quite the gap in between him and the 7 of Dallas Pataska. But that gap keeps getting nothing but bigger, a little bit bigger every lap.
Yeah, most definitely. It looks like the 7 of Dallas Pataska has put his time in here Circuit de Spa, and has definitely put on a good show here tonight. As I'm looking at my stats, and it looks like the 14 of Pauli Johnson has the fastest lap of the evening with a 2-minute 23.156 lap time. So he has ran the fastest lap time out of all these drivers here tonight.
And right now the closest drivers we have here in the time intervals are the 911 of John LaBeouf and the 66 of Charles Paradis, who are separated by 5 seconds. But that one of James O'Brien is actually now being shown 4 seconds behind the 66 of Charles Paradis for the 5th place position. But by the looks of it, he just might not have enough time to make the pass. Going back up front, we have a 7 of Dallas Pataska exiting the right-hander. Going to be going onto the last straightaway, the last straight before the last turn. That one of James O'Brien behind the 45 of Eddie Hawks, trying to get around him, but this is not for position. Eddie Hawks goes wide, lets the one of James O'Brien get around him successfully, and he does so. As the sound of Dallas Pataska does enter turn number 1, he gets around it successfully, and this is coming up to the last stretch before the checkered flag flies. And that is the checkered flag. He does bring this thing home and challenge in first place. Posting the 41 of Chris Perez, exiting the last of the first turn, actually turn 1, and he's now on the straight stretch. 6.54 Josh Conker on the straight stretch as well, close between him and the 41 of Chris Perez, but that does still bring him out in third. And Dave, let's run an in-car of the 7 of Dallas Pataska just so we can watch him do his final lap or victory lap here at Circuit de Spa before we interview him. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to interview the 7 of Pataska, the 41 of Perez, and 654 of Conquer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have our Do the NT Dash for Cash race podium finishers. Right now we are focused on the 7 of Dallas Pataska tonight's race. Winner starting in 3rd place, finishing in 1st place, giving us a smoke show here on the straight stretch coming up to the mountain. He burns that sucker down, spins it around, going back to that start finish line, continues giving us a smoke show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a 7 of Dallas Pataska up here. Let's go to cup there, Dallas.
Yep, 10-4, Sean.
Well, Dallas, I can only imagine how you're feeling right now. You most likely are worn out trying to take this oval beast of a thing to a road course, and I believe, it was very difficult. It must have been very difficult to take this thing, to make this thing turn right, because of how most likely it was trying to, the right side was trying to get off the ground, due to it only being used to going into one direction. But tell us about your race tonight, buddy. How was your experience?
Oh, it was pretty good overall. It's nice to see the hard work I put in practicing this track, actually pay off and get this win. Start of the race went kind of as expected. I didn't expect some people to be up as far as they were, judging from the practice times I've seen from them. But at the end of it, consistency is what mattered, and I think that's where I came out on top.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And also one of the best things you did tonight was execute some excellent green flag pit stops. Tell us about your green flag pit stops tonight. Did they go as planned, or did you think you could have done a better job? By the looks of it, you did finish it 15 seconds ahead of everybody else, or 15 seconds ahead of the 2nd place driver.
Oh, I think I kind of got lucky when I saw the 41 and the 911 spin in front of me early in the race. I kind of just knew that I would defend from them, because at the time when the 14 was ahead of me, I had nothing for them, so I was just going into defense mode.
Oh, 10-4, Dallas. Well, Dallas, I am glad that, even despite you knowing in mind, or having that in mind, that the 14 of Johnson was a little bit faster than you were, like you had mentioned, you were still able to, keep your head high, keep your hammer to the floor, hit your sweet spot, stay consistent, and bring this thing home in 1st place, 15 seconds ahead of your next opponent, the 41 of Chris Perez. And Dallas, you did win the $40 and $10 for showing up, so that's a $50 prize for you tonight. Well, before I let you go, Dallas, any final words that you'd like to give?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the viewers for coming out, watching this amazing broadcast. I'd like to thank you guys for putting on this amazing broadcast. I'd like to thank the PRL staff for once again putting all this together. And especially since we're doing do the NT, I'd like to thank Dean Stone. I believe there's one other person working with him. I apologize to him for not knowing that, but I'd like to put out my thanks to them and all you guys that put this together.
Well, Dallas, we do want to congratulate you on your win tonight after starting in third place with a third place practice time as well. And actually, before we let you go, what should we expect from you next week at the Wildfire Awareness 130 by Cotton Lane at Gateway Motorsports? Because that track is not your friend. Well, not most drivers' friends, at least.
No, I'm going to have my work cut out for me that week. From the practice I've done, it's been very tough. I'm still trying to figure out where to run on that track, as I'm sure many people are. But just like this track, I'll put in the work and hopefully it pays off.
Oh, 10-4 is exactly what we like to hear. Well, Dallas, once again, we do want to congratulate you on your win tonight. After starting in third place, executing some excellent green flag pit stops, and staying very consistent, and that did pay off in the long run after a lot of practice that you had. So once again, congratulations to you, buddy, and see you again next week at Gateway.
Alright, thank you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was your winner for the Do the NT Dash for Cash race number 1, the 7 of Dallas Pataska, but behind him is the 41 of Chris Perez, a driver who put in a hard fight tonight as well, after starting in 6th position and finishing in 2nd place. Get a cup there, Chris.
Yes, sir.
How you doing tonight, buddy?
Tired.
I can only imagine you guys doing about 33 laps on this track, pushing about 2-minute 28-second lap times and executing 2 green flag pit stops, or having to execute 3, I believe, 3 green flag pit stops successfully. Well, Chris, how was your experience after coming from the oval side of things and coming here to the road course?
I actually like this combo. I primarily do road course, so I figured this would be my best chance for a top 3.
Oh, 10-4. And Chris, tonight, did the car meet your expectations, or you didn't really expect much out of an oval car at a road course?
I knew it was going to be hard to get the nose to turn. It was a little harder than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, copy that. I can only imagine. Like I mentioned, that right side trying to go up because it's not used because the car is not used to turning right. It's always programmed to turn one direction. And yeah, that absolutely did play a key role in you guys' strategies. And Chris, how was the tire wear tonight? I guess it was not as good as you had hoped.
Nah, I didn't really pay attention. I just knew that I figured that 4 tires would be better than old tires.
Oh, copy that, Chris. Well, Chris, we do want to congratulate you on your 2nd place finish tonight, of starting all the way back there in 6th position, gaining 4 spots overall, executing some excellent green flag pit stops and staying very consistent and trying your best to run down the 7 of Pataska, who did finish about 15 seconds ahead of you, but you did put in a hard fight and did a great job keeping the 654 of Conquer behind you. Well, Chris, what should we expect from you next week at Gateway, buddy?
I'm hoping to be up in the top 10. It's going to be a tough track. It's going to be close racing.
Oh, absolutely. You have to watch out for that number turn 1 and 2, because that is where a lot of guys do some dirt tracking unintentionally. So yeah, you do have to watch Gateway. Well, once again, Chris, we do look forward to seeing you again next week, and congratulations on your 2nd place finish. And before we let you go, any final words or shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, thanks to you guys for hosting this, doing the broadcast. Thanks for PRL for putting this up, and Dean for working as hard as he did to get the sponsorship done. And thanks to Lit Motorsports for giving me the paint scheme.
Well, once again, Chris, we do congratulate you on your 2nd place finish, and see you again next week at Gateway Motorsports Park. Have a good night and a good rest of the week, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was your 2nd place finish of the Do the NT Dash for Cash race. The 41 of Chris Perez, right behind him, finishing or rounding up the podium finishes, 654 of Josh Conquer, the hardest charger, or the hard charger for tonight's race, starting all the way back in 24th place, no qualifying time, finishing in 3rd place, gaining 21 spots overall. How the heck, Josh?
Hi, Sean. It's been too long. I've really missed talking to you guys up here. Oh man, Spa. I'm loving this. I wish we could have done like 50 laps, because I would have had a lot more for Dallas, because I was coming. I was just fired up, getting going.
Oh, that did definitely show in your performance tonight. And Josh, we did notice you a lot of times. You were all over the back bumpers of everybody, making your presence known and making them drive in their rear view to try and set them up for those passes. Sometimes you give them a bump exiting the turn to do the old bump and run. And how's your race so far, buddy?
I think it was pretty good, considering I had to start from the back. Just some stuff from Pocono last week, so I had to start back there. But I mean, it was lots of fun coming from the back. I rarely get to do that anymore. So we were watching a lot of go-kart and stuff today on TV, like live stream. So I was watching how they were driving. I kind of pulled that in here and getting a little, like as you said, like a little bumping around on some guys. But then I made sure to protect my line into the next corner, so they didn't have a chance to jump back up the inside.
Oh, copy that, Josh. And yeah, the 911 John did put in a hard fight against you to try and make sure you didn't get around him, but you did seem to do a great job there. He just had no choice but to let you get around him. And you did end up increasing that gap between you two to about 11 seconds. And Josh, did the car meet your expectations tonight, or do you think it could have been a lot better? But by the looks of it, it did meet your expectations, because you did go all the way from back to front in no time.
Yeah, I mean, the track temperature was nice. It was really cool, like 68 degrees or something like that. We practiced in like a really high temp earlier in the week, and I was still pretty quick in that, but I found I had more pace in the cooler temp, so I was kind of happy when that came. Just because like the front end got planted a little better, so as you got down you could maneuver it a little better either which way you wanted to, left or right. I mean, this setup could have been a little better, like they could have used like a road setup, like the stock one, or like a Road to America, something like that. But I mean, overall it was pretty good.
Oh, 10-4, Josh. Well, I am glad to hear that. And Josh, tonight, do you think draft played any factor whatsoever, or it was all about you guys racing the track?
Well, mostly it was about us racing the track, but when you got close enough to the guy in front of you, like I did on John, as long as you were within 3 or 4 tenths, you had a good draft, and you could just pop out and make a little move and make a mess up. So the draft did play a little bit of a part in me making my way through.
Oh, 10-4, Josh. Well, Josh, we do want to congratulate you on your 3rd place finish. And what should we expect to see from you next week at Gateway?
Gateway. I can't remember. Gateway is... It's a very tough track. From what I remember, I ran a couple seasons ago with the like B-Fix or something like that, and I remember I had pretty good pace there, but cars are different now, setups are different, so I'm putting the practice, because the Gateway is a very tough track, so I'm hoping to be running up at the top with James O'Brien and Justin Michael and guys like that.
Oh, copy that, Josh. That is definitely a good thing to keep in mind about how tough that track is and how much work you have to put in not to be able to get around it. But you did do a heck of a job tonight, gaining 21 spots overall, being the biggest mover for the entire race tonight. That was very, very impressive on your part. Before we let you go, Josh, any final words or shout outs you'd like to give?
I just want to say thanks to you guys, Dre Broadcasting, for bringing us great broadcasts every night. Yeah, and all my karting sponsors, VSR, Lone Palm Design, Ames Oil, and Corey Blevins, Sport Graphic Design, Sport Graphic Racing. I never had a chance to get the paint on for this race, but it looks really sweet, so I'll have it on for Gateway next week for you guys.
Oh, copy that, Josh. Well, Josh, we do thank you for the kind words, and once again, congratulations on your podium finishes, and once again for being the hard charger tonight, starting in 24th place and finishing in 3rd place, gaining 21 spots overall, executing excellent green flag pit stops, and having excellent pace and consistency throughout the entire race tonight. Well, Josh, have a good night and good rest of the week, buddy, and see you again next week at Gateway.
Thank you. See you next week.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a 6.54 of Josh Conquer, once again being the hardest mover, biggest mover, hard charger, all the way from 24th to 3rd place, gaining 21 spots overall. But that was 7 of Pataska, 41 of Chris Perez, 6.54 of Josh Conquer, your podium finishers. Well, David, it was an amazing race. We did see a lot of battling going on. These guys were actually battling the track more than they were battling themselves, and trying their best just to get around the track and stay out of trouble. And those green flag pit stops, just as usual, they did play a very, very key role tonight. and we had a lot of drivers finishing a lap down or more due to them having spin-outs, incidents on pit road or on the track, and us not having any full course cautions definitely does throw loopholes in these guys' races. So we only had 14 drivers finishing on the lead lap, and the rest of the field did finish a lap down or more, but they still did put on a hard fight even though they were a lap down or more. Well, Dave, what was your highlight from tonight, buddy? And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the Do the NT Dash for Cash race number 1. And our race winner, or the Dash for Cash race winner, it was and is the 7 of Dallas Pataska, taking home a $50 cash prize. So that was an amazing job by him. He did start in 3rd place, finishing in 1st place, and has been a very, very heavy contender throughout the entire season this far. Well, Dave, before we leave, let's go over the final results so we can recognize every driver, please.
Well, we have the 7 of Dallas Pataska coming in first, the 41 of Chris Perez in second. The 6x4 of Josh Conker will finish the podium in third, the 911 of John LeBluff in fourth, the 66 of Charles Paratus in fifth, the 1 of James O'Brien will finish in sixth, 14 of Paul D. Johnson, who led the most laps here tonight, will finish in seventh, the 3 of Dale Robertson finishing eighth, the 5 of Jason Aspie finishing ninth, and the 13 of Spa-Francorchamps Champagne finishing in 10th.
The 40 of Aaron R. Groskopf putting on a hard fight tonight, finishing in 11th place. 55 of Karsten Quentin 12th. The 4 of Sammy Holmes in 13th. The 22 of Jack Price in 14th place, being the last car on the lead lap. The 60 of Cotton Lane finishing 15th. 27 of Danny Duchesne 16th. 45 of Eddie Hawks 17th. 092 of Dean Stone, our season sponsor, finishing in 18th place. The 9 of Austin Moore 19th. And the 24 of Corey Blevins, our current season standings leader, in 20th.
Finishing 21st will be the 59 of David White. The 28 of Eric Roberts finishing 22nd. The 10 of Lance Marsh finishing 23rd. The 78 of Ronald McManus finishing 24th. The 87 of Justin Michael finishing 25th. The 95 of Jeffrey Ford coming out in 26th. The 11 of Brandon Massey finishing 27th. The 63 of Ryan Condicio finishing 28th. The 21 of Trevor White finishing 29th. And the 16 of Curtis Aho finishing in 30th position.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us for tonight's Do the NT Dash for Cash race number 1, sponsored by Do the NT, part of the Precision Racing League United Armed Services Oval Series by Dean Stone. And next week we will be racing right here, well, not at this track, but right here in the Dre Broadcasting Network for the Wildfire Awareness 130 by Cotton Lane in the 60, one of the drivers here in the series. And we will be at Gateway Motorsports Park. So it should be an amazing race because that track is very, very tricky, which brings the best out of these drivers. So it's going to be up to the drivers than it will be in the setup. So you should expect an amazing race from there as usual. And the next broadcast is on Tuesday night with the Extreme Motorsports Track Series at Kentucky for the Fusion Motorsports TV 128. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet already, please hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when we do go live. If you do enjoy seeing some great amazing content or great amazing racing on iRacing here on Dre Broadcasting. I am Sean Zulu and Dave Everly behind the cameras, and have a good night.
Father went back in 82. Mother not long after him.
Grandma's gone? Grandpa's gone? Mum says Nan's next.
Everyone I love has gone.
Yeah, my wife. She's gone to a better place. So I thought I'd join her.
Don't look back to the things you never have. Don't say never, say now what you waiting for. Oh, my eyes are open wider than the whole world. Oh, the sky is open wider than the whole world. La, 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 la.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.